Hey everybody, it's Missy. Thanks for joining me again today. I'm so excited to have a layout in the newest Creative Scrappers Creating with Sketches sketchbook by Christine Davidson. This is the fourth one, and it is an awesome collection of sketches. There are lots of designers who have layouts in it, and you can buy a hard copy one. You can get it emailed to you digitally. Really fun. I've participated in the last one that she did, and it's just full of inspiration. And I'm going to have a giveaway for you, so stick around, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Now, I'm not going to show you my particular sketch, obviously, because it's in the book, but as you can see, I am using some circles here. Now, these are circles from a cut file that Christine designed, and you can pick up any of her cut files in the Creating with Sketches or Creative Scrappers store. And she's got a lot of really fun cut files there. So I'm going to just cut these apart and use the big circle outlines, I guess you could say. And my sketch has lots of circles in it and 2 photos. So I will tell you that much. And I stuck pretty closely to the sketch here. I'm going to use black and white pictures because I want to use a lot of color, and I'm going to do lots of fun painting on my background. And the papers that I'm using in this are from Webster's Pages. I believe most of them are from Painted Passport. I picked up a couple of packs of their newest collections at Hobby Lobby just because the colors are so pretty, and so that's mainly what I'm going to use for a lot of this at first. So I just kind of go crazy here with my white cardstock to begin with. I want to create a lot of pink in the background because I am going to be using orange and blue in my cut files with the paper. So I want pink in this. So I just went through and picked out some of my favorite shimmers colors, and I'm just making a mess here. This is no rhyme or reason. I'm using my brush, I'm using the packaging technique, I'm doing some splattering. I'm going to wind up just simply spraying it directly onto the paper, and I just want a watercolor background here. And a lot of this gets covered up with the papers and the pictures, but I want it to kind of peek out from wherever you can still see it through the circles and everything. So I just want different shades of pink, and that's all I'm doing here. You can't really mess this kind of a background up, honestly. It's supposed to be messy, it's supposed to look watery, and it's just fun to get messy. I love doing this. And if you've ever tried shimmers, then you know there are a ton of products, and there's some with flat color, some with shimmer, and I'm kind of using a mix here. And I did use gesso because I knew that I was going to be adding a lot of wet paint, and I didn't want it to mess up the cardstock. So now I'm going to test everything and put the circles back on, and I want them to be kind of crooked, and I want to see how it looks. Love that color scheme. This is one of my favorite color schemes. You know, I love me some pink and aqua and yellow and that light orange color. So I just keep playing around with the paint, with the sprays here, and I'm kind of going quickly with it because, like I said, it's mainly for accenting from behind everything. And now I'm just going to use the nozzle to kind of draw a messy circle around the perimeter there. And my pictures are just cute pictures of my daughter in the swing, and she was laughing and making silly faces, and then she kept covering her eyes with her hand. She's just funny. And those are from a few years ago, but I thought they were super cute. Okay, so I've got a lot of the background done, and my pictures are bigger than I normally use. I didn't measure them. They're almost 4 by 4. I think they're a little bit smaller than that, but I did not print them with a white border, and so I just stuck them to some older scrap cardstock that I had there to give them a white border. And I'm going to stick all my circles down, and I am going to wind up doing some stitching through all of it, so I don't use a lot of adhesive, but I just add a little bit to keep it down so it stays put while I run it through my sewing machine. And, you know, mixed media like this, it's a great way to add color that you may not have in a paper. Okay, there's where I did my stitching, and I did it in pink thread. But see, I'm not using any pink paper, but I wanted pink on my layout, and so I just used the paint to bring in the pink. So if you're working with some papers and you want to add a certain color to your layout, but you don't have it, that's where the mixed media is really helpful. And this is some tissue paper from my stash. I'm just doing a little bit of a subtle border behind my pictures. And I just like the way the tissue paper softens the edges a little bit. And you could do the same thing with vellum. This collection's really, really pretty. I love the colors. And I've had this for a while and I just had not used it. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time and add some pattern paper layers behind my pictures, and mostly just the colors that I've already got going on here. Pinks and oranges and a little bit of yellow. So now I decided that I'm going to add some silver, and this was just kind of a spur of the moment thing here. I created some of my own circles this time in my Silhouette software and cut it on white cardstock, and before I'm going to peel it off the mat, I'm going to come in with some of my Silver Shimmers paint. I believe this one's called No One's Chrome, and can't remember if that's an Inklings or a Creamies off the top of my head, but I just added some water to it to activate it, and I'm just painting it on before I take it off the mat. And I'm not using a whole lot of water so it doesn't seep through. I don't have any gesso or anything on here, but it's just going to give my circles some color. And it's going to give them some shimmer. Now, the one thing about doing these little skinny circles like this and then painting them is they're going to be kind of warped, kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is glue them down. And once you start to glue them down, they, or once I started to glue them down, they straightened out. I just felt like I needed to break up all of those bright, cheerful colors with a little bit of a different color. And so that's why I decided to bring in the silver. I just wanted more circles. And this also is going to help bring in the gray tones that are in the pictures. So yeah, this is a subtle thing. I didn't want it to overpower anything. That's why I went with the light silver color. It just kind of tones down all of that brightness. Okay, so this is Simple Stories. This is the Sunshine and Happiness collection. I went through and picked out some more papers that went with these colors in the Webster's Pages colors. And if you see the sketch, then this will make sense. I wanted to jazz up some more layers behind my pictures. So I fussy cut a lot of these really pretty flowers out, and I'm just going to tuck them in underneath and on top of my pictures there. And again, all these colors are coordinating. And if you remember all of that painting I did on the background, you can see a lot of it is covered up. And that's the way I wanted it, because I wanted it to kind of just peek out. So when you look at this, you still see that pretty pink, but it's not the most overpowering color. I'm going to glue all of these flowers down and make sure my pictures are straight. For someone who's so messy and random with the backgrounds, I'm very, very picky about making sure my pictures are straight. When I want them straight, I want them straight. And that T-square ruler does a great job of making sure of that. Okay, so these are some of the Webster's Pages stickers from, gosh, another collection. I can't remember the name of it. But it says, and this was, and then I'm going to come in with, oh, hold up. Never mind. I'm going to make some leaves first. These are some random Hobby Lobby green papers from my stash and my Martha Stewart punches. I've got two different little leaf punches there. I felt like I needed some pops of green, and these beautiful flowers needed little leaves. And so I'm just giving them small ones here. Sometimes I don't feel like my flowers need leaves, but sometimes I want to give them leaves. And so I get all that glued down. I love that little pops of green. And there's my big head. I decided to go with a little bit more of a gray accent. And this is some of my Michaels gray and white striped washi tape. And I'm just tearing it and kind of adding some accents to the top and the bottom of the pictures. And it just kind of gives it some interest. So now I'm going to come in with my thread. I am going to finish my title here momentarily. But this is some coordinating thread in the same colors that I've got going here. Some light blue. And I think I'm going to add some yellow. And this is just very subtle little pops of color. That's an Evalicious camera clip. I've had this for forever and I need to use them more. There's a perfect little spot there on that picture. These are some thickers from, oh my goodness, I cannot even remember. I want to say it was one of the Amy Tan collections. I don't even remember. Maybe it was Rise and Shine. But my title is going to be, and this was funny. I do go back and add another NY to make it funny. And on my sketch, around the circles, there are a lot of little almost like confetti circles and stars, kind of like a sprinkling of little shapes. And so I'm going to come in with some Pinkfresh Studio wood veneer hearts and some of these puffy sequin alpha. No, those aren't alphas. Puffy alphas. Hello. Puffy sequin stickers. And those were in a hip kit. I cannot remember. I want to say those were Heidi Swapp. They may be Pinkfresh Studio. I don't remember. I threw the packaging away. But they make perfect little accents for going around the circles. I love how that looks. It just looks kind of like I dropped confetti around the page. I'm going to add some flare buttons, and these are from a Flair for Buttons. And I'm going to add the gray one down there to the bottom. It says This Time. And mainly I like the fact that it's gray because I've got some of the silver and the gray going on. And then this one is a bokeh white, blue, and green hearts. Yeah, I added another NY to my title, and so it's going to be, and this was funny, because it was. We were always laughing at her. She's always doing funny things when she used to swing. She doesn't really fit in the baby swing anymore, but she was always making us laugh. I'm going to make sure everything is glued down. And I'm thinking, what else do I need? Oh yes, we need some black splatters. Just to echo the black that is in the pictures. I don't want to darken it up too much because I've got these dark photos and then all these really pretty light colors going around it. But I do want some black splatters. And that's going to wrap it up. There's the final layout. I did add a couple of little phrase stickers from one of my Tim Holtz sticker booklets to finish it off, and that's it. I had a great time making this. The sketch was so much fun. Leave me a comment below telling me what you love about sketches, and one of you will win a free printed copy of Creating with Sketches #4. So I'm giving one away for free, and you're going to love it because it's full of inspiration. So leave me a comment, let me know, and thanks for watching.